Right then, if you're anything like my dad, mid-handicapper, plays once a week, goes to maximum forgiving driver, you need to come and check your loft sleeve. Every single function on here. Now, there's a very good reason, right? He came to me for a lesson, the cheeky bugger, asking me for a free lesson, and he was hitting the ball flight super, super high, and he's like, Alex, I bought this new driver, it's not going any distance at all. I said, well, why on earth have you got it set on this loft setting right here? We need to do a bit of a test on this, lower it, and boom, it went absolutely, I'm gonna say, I'm probably underestimating this, 10 yards, no, let's go 15 yards, underestimating this, 15 yards further. Now in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what each of these loft sleeves do on your driver. So let's start with a baseline. We're gonna put this on the neutral setting. So when you get it out of the wrapper, this is where it will start. Then give it a tighten. Anyone else absolutely love that noise, or do you panic thinking you're gonna break your driver? Glove on. This is going to be our baseline, right? Sort of what happens when I set this driver on neutral. Now remember, the reason why we're doing this, my dad was setting it way high, so there will be some information on here for how you can change your loft setting to make your ball flight go longer. And if you've had a similar experience, get down below in the comments. I wanna hear what you've got to say. Right, I'm excited about this today, because I actually think this could probably help me too, which is quite selfish, I know, but everyone wants to be a better golfer, right? Right, okay, here we go. This is our baseline. Oh, sprinklers have just come on. You know what, it's incredibly warm right here. I actually wouldn't mind going running through that, but I'm not going to complain. At home right now in Manchester, it is absolutely Baltically cold. Okay, here we go. So watch this ball flight. Let's see what it does, and we'll get a few numbers for you too. Oh my Lord, that is high. That is climbing. I mean, it's poker straight, that, isn't it? That is poker straight. But just look how that was climbing. Look how that was climbing. It was like, boof, straight up in the air. That's actually pretty much what my dad's was doing for him. I tell you what, right, if that's my baseline carry, I'm going to show you this. I'm buzzing with that if we can get this spin down. Right, okay, so for me, carry was 267, spin rate 3750. Now, when you've got a driver that has essentially sometimes too much loft for you, you can create a little bit too much spin. Taking loft off is going to reduce that. So that's the first place we're going to start with this. So 3750 spin. We want that sort of around the 2,500 mark. So you got 1,250 to get rid of. That was actually quite easy maths. I'm quite happy about that. And here we go, just a bit more data. Ball speed 160.7. Pretty good smash and pretty good launch. So really, we're looking at the fact that it's going like, oh, it's almost like I could feel like I could catch that one. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a change right now. If your ball flight's a bit high and spinny, now do remember, it's quite interesting this, there's a setting on this which I was quite surprised at in this driver, quite unusual compared to any others. I'll get into that. So the first point I think we should probably look at here is actually whacking some loft off. And the way I would do it and recommend any golfer is to go whole hog. And if that's a really British term, what I mean is, don't nudge it by half a degree. Come on, it's blooming nothing. Let's do as max as you can go, and then you can sort of turn it back in. Think about it like this, a volume switch. Whack it on full blast so you burst your eardrums. Well, don't burst your eardrums, but whack it on full blast. Then just knock it down a few. So we're gonna go and test the setting minus 1.5. This is just actually reminding me what I recommended one of my students to do, a higher handicapper than my dad. I'll tell you at the end of this though, he was a slicer and we went a super low lofted driver, 80 degrees. I'll tell you about this later. It might sound a bit weird, but this is what we did. Okay, so we have now made this 10.5 minus 1.5. This is around 9-degree driver. Now this is really important. When you make a driver lower lofted, you alter the face. I know, it's not good. You actually open the face slightly. Taking loft off a driver like this and this sleeve opens the face slightly. So just something to bear in mind. I'm still tempted to go in that water. It's getting closer and closer and closer. Now, we should see lower spin. We should see a bit more carry because we're lowering that spin by taking a bit of loft off. I'm not adjusting any weight here at the back. I'm not adjusting any shaft. These are all things you can do, but I'm looking for a very inexpensive way. Fine-tune your driver yourself. And this shaft is nothing special. It's just what comes at stock. I do feel a bit of pressure here, by the way. I've got to make sure I get out the middle just as good as the last one. Okay, right, here we go. So this is notched down. Oh, it does look like it's got less loft. It's visually different. Oh, oh my. Did you just see how much lower that just launched? That was ridiculously low. I'll tell you what, that'd be decent into wind, wouldn't it? Right, I didn't quite get it as good, I'll be perfectly honest, but this is exactly what I wanted to see. Look at this. Maybe it's a bit too much loft off, and I'll explain. Just look how I've knocked that spin rate down. Now the carry's not quite as much, but the spin is right where we wanted it to be. Now I did just say this. One, I went whole hog, I went 1.5 degrees, where you can actually tune it to 1 degree down, and 2, I didn't get it quite as good. And look, that launch was a little bit on the low side, but why I'm really happy about this, 2 nearly 3 miles an hour more ball speed, and that spin, right in the sweet spot. So can you see, just by understanding what your driver does, it's gonna give you the means to hitting it further. Okay, so we've gone whole hog, so maybe if we were hitting loads more shots, which you don't need me to do, we'd probably try it on -1. We'd sort of go full blast like I said and rein it back. Let's now, just to show you this, what happens if I add 1.5 degrees. This is crazy, I know, oh my God. Oh bugger, I do actually need to tell you about this guy. So essentially, right, I'll give you a bit of a background. He was, I remember, I think it's a 13, 14 handicapper, sliced it for fun. One of them golfers who aims, you'd be aiming, see that buggy on the left there, you'd be aiming so far off to the left and letting it sling back around. Now, he had, at the time, a 10.5 degree driver, and he had slightly lofted it down to, I think, 10 degrees. You could do ½ degree on this setting of driver. It was a tailor-made Sim 2 Max. It was a forgiving head, and I was like, come on, James, we can really sort you out here. What I want to suggest to you is going for an 8 degree, but then lofting it up. So a little bit more to this story now, and this is why this is a really good thing to think about here, is when you add loft to a stock number on your driver. So this is 10.5 degrees stock. I've now added 1.5. That's made this 12 degrees. To be honest, way too much loft. But remember, he was a slicer, and adding loft now closes the face. Adding loft now closes the face. So think about this logically, I said to him. Let me get the ball out here. These are getting closer. We're gonna get wet in a second. Think about this logically. He was a bit scared. He went, wow, so I'm gonna buy an 8 degree driver. I said, yeah, buy an 8 degree driver. We loft it up 1.5 to 2 degrees, or it was 8.5. It's 8.5 degree driver. Loft it up 1.5 degrees. We'll make it 10, so it's actually the same loft as you've got right now, but your face will sit a little more closed. So that's gonna help you get it more closed to impact. And you all know this, if you slice it, where's your face? So open. So you're standing there with a 10 degree driver that's already slightly closed. The confidence that he got was crazy. I had to do a few warm-up swings before hitting any this morning, because it's quite early, hence why we've got a few sprinklers going on here. Oh my. Just come and look at this. This is what I was saying. This is why, if you slice it, you get so much confidence. Can you see how that face just sits slightly close? Well, actually, I say slightly, it's quite a lot closed. So I'm anticipating this is gonna go extremely high for me and very, very left. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. I might actually aim a little bit right, just to anticipate this high and left. Here we go. Oh! Look how high that is. I tell you what though, it drew like crazy, didn't it? It absolutely drew. See what I mean? That's what I'm saying. If you can loft a driver up, it sits slightly closed, yes, and it goes like that. Now, interestingly, this spin has done exactly what I was gonna say to you. Here we go, look at this, look. Spin has gone through the roof, carry's still pretty good, and ball speed's dropped off significantly. Now the reason for this is, launch is still good, which is why the carry's okay, but ball speed's dropped off is because spin has gone sky high. Again, it comes back to this video. Can you see the importance of testing and trying everything? So for me, I actually think -1 degree is the sweet spot with this driver, but I said to you there was something quite interesting about this loft sleeve, unlike any others, and yeah, I'm a bit odd, a bit strange really, but I guess I understand why Ping have done it. So here we go. This is what's really interesting about this. That's upside down. Let's go that way around. See this bit here? It says flat. Now you've got flat neutral, so that'd be flat 10 degrees. You've got flat +1, that would be 11.5, I think. Yeah, 11.5. And you got flat -1, so that'd take the driver down to 9.5 degrees. But the interesting thing is, it says flat. Now, think who this driver's aimed at, right? This driver's aimed at, nothing wrong with it, but most of us slice the golf ball for fun. So this driver here will sit a little bit more upright than I would say most drivers on the market. And what that means is the toe a little bit more up in the air. That sort of closes the face and forces the ball to launch a little further left. Now, Ping realise that's not gonna be right for everybody. So the setting of flat moves the driver more this way, and I wouldn't say forces the face to point right, I would say just not as left. And therefore, if you're a golfer who loves this driver, but it launches a little too left, making the driver flatter is actually going to help you sort of start the ball not as left and more down to target. So let's go flat whole hog minus 1, because I actually think that could be the setting for me. I launch it a little left with this driver, I launch it a little high, so that flat minus 1 on this specific driver could be absolutely the golden nugget ball. Now, if you slice it, and most drivers are a little bit opposite to this, most drivers will have upright where that lies, the lie angle part where it says flat, most it will say upright. I would make it, if you slice it, as upright as possible. It's gonna launch your ball a little further this way. Okay, so I actually think I've nailed it. I don't think I need one more golf ball really after this. I think this is going to be the setting that's gonna give me the best. Yes, you know what, looking at that, I think that's absolutely spot on. Let's look, right? So you can see, I've taken a loft off. It's gonna lie a little flatter down the ground. It's gonna stop me hitting it as left. I think it's gonna be spot on. Absolutely spot on. Oh, now that is my dream ball flight. Look how penetrating that is. That is it. That is it. That is it. Come on, talk to me here. Proof is in the pudding. Look at this carry, the best of the day, 269, spin a little on the high side, but right where I want it to be, sort of 2.5 to 3, in that sweet spot, much closer, and maybe it was a little bit out the bottom, I don't know. But that's spot on, isn't it? Look at that right there. Look at that right there. Look at that. Can you see the importance of testing and trying loft settings on your driver? Dad, if you're watching this, which I hope you are, can you see how important it is to change your loft settings? Now you're hitting it further, and you can thank me for winning that monthly medal. Thanks for watching.